Welcome to episode number 2. I have my pants tied really tight and I'm gonna untie them because that's the mood we're in right now. For those of you new, I'm Allie, also known as Alley Cat. I work in the gaming scene for the Call of Duty League, but this is not about gaming. That is not what the Cat Den is going to be about. And the way this works is I'm basically going to bring up a topic, I'm going to give my riffraff on it, and people are in Discord live right now listening with me. And then near the end, we're going to allow one or two people, if they're comfortable, to unmute their mics and give, their 2 cents or their opinion, and have a conversation with me about it. Or they'll just type their thoughts and feelings in the Discord, and I'll read it, and I'll also, same vibe, we'll give our little 2 cents about it. So to just jump right into it, our topic today is how to be confident and kind of what confidence means and what that means. To start off for me, before I give kind of my opinion on confidence and stuff, I will more so talk about my experience with confidence and how I have grown to be more confident in myself. I guess in my space of work and what I do, a lot of people would assume that I'm a pretty confident person and a very outgoing person. And those two things do not go very hand in hand when it comes to me. I didn't have confidence, I believe, until maybe this past year. I would have to say that confidence is something that takes a lot of work, and I think it goes pretty hand in hand with self-love. I think you can't have love for yourself unless you're confident, and I don't think you can be confident unless you love yourself, and that's something I had to learn kind of over a couple of years with growing up pretty quickly, through my childhood and having to become an adult really quickly, and also being exposed to media and social media very, very quickly, and immediately getting, first impressions and judged by the way that you look right off the bat. First impressions are really important. And it's really easy to tell when somebody isn't confident, and it's really easy to tell when somebody's faking confidence. And so when I was in middle school, I got bullied a lot for the way that I looked because my mom worked at a makeup store when I was growing up. She was a general manager of Ulta, and she loved testing makeup on me and doing my hair and stuff, but I didn't like going to school with it. I wouldn't put it on. And I always got made fun of for that because that's when makeup hit the middle schoolers, and all the popular girls had, their waterlines drawn up with black eyeliner and mascara and crazy looks of blush. And I got made fun of for my bare face, that like I looked weird and I wasn't as pretty as all the other girls. And that kind of goes hand in hand with, also the fact that most of the popular girls really didn't like me, so I wasn't doing myself a whole lot of favors. I also played sports when I was younger. My parents were very advocate on sports. And so I was a little bit more burly than the other girls my age. I was a bit chubbier and maybe slightly more aggressive, to be honest. And I was quite tomboyish as well. And so what little confidence I had came mostly from sports and just feeling strong and like I was good at something. But, being singled out by a lot of the kids in your school kind of causes that rift between fake self that fake sense of confidence when you're walking down the hallway versus when you're back at home thinking about, all the horrible messages you're getting on Facebook. Or I don't know about you guys, I got added to group chats on Facebook by the girls that didn't like me at school, and they would like send me messages on Facebook in the group chat, like making fun of me. Like I couldn't, it's when the golden age of unable to escape bullying either at school or at home became a thing. And so the only confidence I have, again, was just in sports. And even then, I wasn't that good of an athlete. I wasn't that good at sports, but the teams I was on was always pretty good. So I always got to boast about that. And then in high school, I just didn't care to have confidence. I didn't really know myself. I didn't understand myself. And again, you have to sort of, at least to an extent, understand and know yourself to love yourself, and then to have that love for yourself, be confidence. And I didn't know anything about myself in high school. I didn't know what I liked. I didn't know what I didn't like. I didn't know how I liked to dress. I didn't know what hair color I wanted to do. Like, I couldn't figure anything out. I didn't even know what to do with my life. And that's what I feel like a lot of people struggle with in high school. You don't know what to do with your life. And it's this giant question mark of, who am I going to be? And that's why I feel like in high school, nobody really has any confidence because nobody knows anything about themselves, really, for the majority at least. I mean, maybe there's some people that have it all figured out that early, but I think for the majority, that's kind of not the case. And so I would show up to school late. I wouldn't do my hair. I'd wear a sweatshirt. I'd hide the fact that I thought I was, still pretty chubby and hadn't lost any baby weight. And I didn't play sports anymore, so I didn't even have the confidence in that. And I brought a blanket to school and I laid in the hallways and slept during classes. I wasn't very smart either, even though I was somehow considered the smart kid, which doesn't make any sense. I was just good at memorization like 10 minutes before a test. And then I'd take the test and I'd do okay on it. And then I'd forget everything that I tried to remember before taking that test. And so I was able to fake the smart kid act, but I was really just a bum throughout all of high school. I was known as the blanket girl. And I'll never forget the day that I tried to fake confidence. It was my graduation day. And again, I didn't wear makeup to school. I had really bad anxiety, unmedicated anxiety back then. I would pick the heck out of my face, and I had horrible scars all over my face from my acne and from picking at the scabs. And TMI, some people are kind of grossed out by that. Um, and the day we had graduation rehearsal, I dressed up to the nines, because I was so excited to leave high school. And I thought it would be so funny if, I pretended to be this really unconfident, weird, you know, under the radar girl and then showed up and, looked so different. And so I did my makeup and I did my hair and I dressed up and I put on heels and I went to school, and I quite literally mean it when I say people like didn't know who I was. Like they didn't recognize me to like a very serious extent. And they were very taken aback, and I found, a very deep sense of like fake confidence from that, from putting that makeup on and putting the clothes on and whatever. But I still felt nervous, and I didn't understand why I was so nervous. I mean, now I do in my olden age, but back then I didn't know why I was so nervous when, I knew that I had dressed up so well. And that was because I knew like it wasn't real, that I didn't really have that confidence because I didn't really think I was pretty, and I didn't really think that I looked good deep down, and I was judging myself. And, who knows if anybody else caught on or not. But after that, it was a lot of changing hair colors and trying to figure out what I did and didn't like on myself. And again, only this past year did I really feel like I have a sense of, appreciation for the way I look and the way I dress and all that external bullshit, and, for who I am as a person. And that happened when I dropped all my weight. I turned 20, and for some reason, all of my weight just disappeared. I didn't do anything for it. I didn't work out. I didn't really change my eating habits much. It just all went away one day, literally. And suddenly I started getting so much more attention from people around me. I had people from high school hitting me up, that I had crushes on back in the day. And I once again felt that really fake surge of self-confidence because it was so heavily reliant on the way that I looked on the outside. And, social media is a curse, and, comparing yourself to everybody online, and well, I don't look like that. And, they say that this girl's attractiveness doesn't take away from your attractiveness and blah, blah, blah. Like just knowing all that's just straight bullshit, because if it was between me and her, somebody, 80% of people or 90% of people would pick her type thing. So around then was a really confusing time for me. I liked the way that I looked physically, but I didn't really like myself internally yet. I still had a lot of things that I wanted to work on with myself, even though some things were out of my control. by this time I had been diagnosed autistic, and I already had anxiety and depression, and I already didn't like the way that I reacted and did things. And the only way to, fix that sort of thing is to look inside yourself and be like, okay, well, if I can't change the diagnosis and I can't change, the way my brain is wired, I can at least try and change the way I act and react about it. And that was my kind of start of the journey for me to have confidence and kind of figure out what that even meant. Because confidence isn't external, it's not, at least for me, it's never come from other people. I mean, it does feel good, obviously, when, people you care about compliment you, or when somebody you like compliments you. And, of course, I love seeing, all the likes on my Instagram posts and stuff. Like, that's always a really cool feeling, but it'll never be, self sufficient. I think that falls under kind of that fake sense of self confidence and that fake sense of like self love. For me, I feel like you only can truly have confidence when you like yourself and when you love yourself and know that you're the person you want to be, or that you're working towards the person you want to be. And I also think that it's important that everybody has that. I don't think confidence is ever a bad thing, as long as it's created and cultivated in the right way. Again, not cultivated by the amount of likes you get on social media, or by other people drooling when they see you walk by. I think it's more built on the fact that, you have worked on yourself and become someone that you would want to be around. I always tell myself, I would love to be friends with myself, and I would love to be around myself because I think I'm a good person, or I think I'm working to be a good person. And that's kind of developed confidence because of doing that, because I know that I've taken those steps and I know that I've built on those things, at least internally. Externally, there's only so much I can do. So much for my ASMR happiness. Anyway, all right, well, it stopped. Regain. Okay. Regain. All right. Where is I at? Right, I was talking about physical confidence. So there's only so much I can do about the way that I look, right? Like, and that's a tough one to get over, and that's a tough one to be confident about, moving forward. And now I guess I kind of move into like the how can you be confident sort of things, like how to build confidence, how to create, a sense of confidence. And that's step one for me, especially, I think, is that self love. I think self love and confidence are literally the same thing. I don't think you can have one without the other, personally. And I think I don't want to say it's easy working on self love, like internal self love, especially, but things I did that helped me and that got me through it is kind of just sitting down with myself and being like, what do I not like about myself internally, not externally. Like what are areas, I think I could grow in or work in, or, maybe there's a reaction about yourself that you don't like. Maybe, like, I used to not like the way I reacted to, like, as a silly example, I used to not like the way I reacted to video games and like losing video games. And I think a lot of us here, I know I said this wouldn't really be about gaming, but I think a lot of us here could kind of relate to it. And, I didn't like how angry I got. I didn't like how kind of out of control I got when I would lose or when something wouldn't go my way. And, I thought it was really cringe that I did that. I thought it was unattractive and ick, if you would so dare call it that. And so I took the time to work on it to try and consciously build patience with myself and to consciously build patience with the game I was playing, and reminding myself that it really isn't that big of a deal. Yeah, it sucks, but every time I felt myself getting that anger and that patience to kind of, be able to stop myself, bring myself a little bit back to reality and be like, it's because, even if it is my job, to play video games, it is quite literally just a game. I know that's like a horrible sentence, but it's just, I didn't like that part and I wanted to work on it. And that's what I did. And it took me a couple of years. You guys have seen me play a multitude of games, specifically League of Legends, but it it took a couple of years for me to not rage like crazy. We watch old clips of me where I was screaming when I lost the dang Fortnite game. I can't believe I'm saying that out loud. I'd literally scream. I would throw my controller, I would hit my desk, like I would act a fool. And I did not like that I did that. And I wanted to change. So, from the time I was 19 till maybe 2021, I tried to work on that patience. And it's, the same thing with everything, with anything that you want to change about yourself or, maybe grow in a certain area. Like I used to have really bad anxiety when people wouldn't text me back fast. I think I talked about this pretty recently. I used to get really bad anxiety over it, because I have a lot of free time and I feel like I prioritized, or at least used to prioritize texting people back pretty quickly. But as I got older and I didn't like that anxiety that it caused me, and that wasn't anybody else's problem but my own. It's not their job to, whatever they've got going on to make sure that they text me back quickly or in an adequate amount of time. It's not fair of me to be like, hey, this gives me a lot of anxiety if you don't, answer me in a certain time period or give me an adequate response. Now, to some extent, I mean, like significant partners and things like that, there might be some boundaries when it comes to that sort of thing. But in general, it wasn't fair of me to hold that expectation on people. And not only that, to feel a certain way about it to where like it affected my mood for the day and affected, how that day was going to go. Because my anxiety very much, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this, can really, really affect how my day goes. I could be having a great day, but something very small setting off my anxiety could ruin the next couple of hours, even maybe even the rest of the day if it doesn't get remedied or fixed or whatever. And then suddenly it's not only my problem, but it's everybody else's problem. And I didn't like that I did that. And I had to kind of not only learn to understand other people have their own lives and their own literal personalities and their own ways of doing things. Things that I don't like, other people could like, and things that I, whatever, vice versa. People are all their own person, quite literally. And that was something I had to kind of teach myself and my anxiety. And also, you don't need to text somebody 24/7. I actually, which is funny, is I've kind of literally grown out of it. Is I hate texting all the time now. It's like social interaction. It's kind of draining. I don't like small talk, and I have people I don't talk to for months that are still some of my closest friends, just because we don't really do the whole texting thing and we don't live that close. But I would still do anything for them. And that was another part of me, that I had to look at and be like, I don't like the way this takes hold of me and controls me. So I want to try and grow in that area and become more at peace with, the way I interact with people and how often I interact with them, so on and so forth. So I I want to say that building self-love is kind of easy in that sense, but it does take a lot of willpower and it takes a very open mind, because to do it, you have to first look at yourself and be able to say there are things that are maybe not wrong with you, but maybe that you just don't like, you know, to think that you aren't a perfect person, right out of the womb, to think that maybe you're wrong in some areas, or to think that, you might be an unpleasant opinion in some areas. And then to make that conscious decision and use, that willpower to try and change it or to grow in that space. So it's easy to talk about, but maybe not so easy uh, to execute all the time. some things are easy. Like maybe you don't like the way that you walk. Just, consciously walk a different way. I don't know. Or, you don't like the way that you said hello on the phone. You can change the way you say hello on the phone. Those things are easy. But as far as controlling anxieties and things and controlling your own emotions go, it's a little bit harder, at least internally. But that's the way I did it. I just sat down and processed things about myself that I didn't like or wanted to change or wanted to grow in, and you know I still do that all the time. I still see how I react in certain situations and see things that I do, and have to have a talk with myself basically, and be like, hey, I didn't really like the way we did this, or I didn't like the way that we handled this, and whatever. It's a forever ongoing process, and I think that ever ongoing process is also what builds confidence in myself, because I know that I'm always working on it. I know I'm always trying to be a better person. I know I'm always trying to take a step forward and grow. Um, and so, there's never an end goal with self love. There's never an end goal as a person. It's going to always and forever be a growing, changing thing. Because something about yourself that you didn't like a year ago, maybe you like now, or you don't like the way that you changed to be. And it's like a whole rabbit hole of, because I'm not the same person I was yesterday, and neither are you. And we're not the same person we were a week ago, or a month ago, or a year, or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Humans every minute, every hour are changing people. And as far as externally goes, again, there's only so much I and we can change about our physical appearance without it, being the Kardashian situation and being able to get, plastic surgery and all that fun stuff. But even then, like, there's limitations on that. You know what I'm saying? So in a more like realistic sense of things, I think becoming comfortable with the way you look, you know, even if you don't like your birth given attributes and whatnot, I think there's still ways to make yourself confident and love your physical appearance. For me, obviously, that losing of weight, which even though I didn't work hard for it at all, was a bit of a blessing for me. Um, I already didn't eat a whole lot growing up. I did have an eating disorder when I was in middle and high school. It was mostly by accident, and it still followed me until these past couple of years. And as most of my community knows, I've been working on it really hard, to where it's a subconscious thing now, where like I forget to eat. I think I've been a lot better about it the past couple of months. But I used to eat probably one meal a day, and it was just because my list of priorities in my brain was kind of fucked up. To me, like, eating was almost like a reward, but not even. I would make food, but then I'd have to do the dishes before I could eat, and then I'd have to do laundry before I could eat, and then I had to shower before I could eat, and then suddenly that food's gone cold and been sitting out, and I'm not even hungry anymore, and I wouldn't eat it. And that was a really obviously unhealthy way to go about my life. But I am thankful for that, weight loss, because to me, I was so confused why I knew I wasn't eating that much, and I was still, at least in my head, I considered myself to be chubbier, bigger than most, or not where I wanted to be. And that's the quote unquote what everybody will tell you. Oh, we'll just lose weight, and then you'll be confident in the way that you look. And I don't think that's completely true. Maybe for some people that would work, but I don't really think like the weight and stuff has to do anything with it. Maybe a different hair color will make you feel confident, things like that. But I think true physical confidence comes more from like hygiene and stuff. Um, like I think so. This is kind of like in how do you build confidence section. Um, for me, I think it's just like a couple of kind of easy things. Like making sure your hygiene's on point. Making sure you're showering, twice a day. Making sure you're brushing your teeth every day, making sure you're washing your face, making sure you're getting the right actual stuff for your body. And and I'm looking a little bit more at the guys for this one, just because I feel like you guys don't get educated as much about like hygiene and like taking care of your hair and taking care of your face and your skin. I feel like that's always been weirdly twisted to be a girl thing for some reason. And that makes me really sad because it should just be a human thing. It should just be a human thing to want to make sure that you're using all the right stuff for your skin type and your hair type and your body type and all that stuff. So for me, that's a step one. I think a really easy way to build confidence is just making sure you're really hygienic, making sure you smell good and you're clean, and not only for the people around you, as important as that is, but also for yourself. When you feel clean, you feel good. That's just kind of how that works. Another one is finding the hairstyle that you like. Get your hair done, find a hairstyle that suits you. Go to the salon, ask them what they think. Don't just let it get unruly and do whatever, you know. It's putting a little bit of effort into the appearance. You know what I'm saying? Forrest, what is a good style for bald? Bald is a style. So you're 2 steps ahead of the rest of us. You're 2 steps ahead of the rest of us. That is a hairstyle technically. um, and then the one after that is finding what way you like to dress. I fell into that hole of high school. In high school, of just wearing a hoodie and sweatpants every day, and I'm wondering why I don't feel confident in myself. Like, come on. Like, I think finding your style is so important because, again, like, these are all things, at least for me, like dressing the way that I like and wearing clothes that I like just elevate my mood so much higher. Like, even when I'm just at home, I like buying like pajama sets and things and wearing them around the house, and it makes me feel better. Like, it makes me feel put together, and at the end of the day, like, the way you feel is what matters. And you know if your style is sweatpants and hoodies, there's no problem with that. That is, I think that's called like streetwear or something. I don't even know. But just it not being random, like, really take the time and pamper yourself and find what you like. Look it up on other people, go out and try stuff on at stores. Like, none of this is looked down upon. And I'm especially speaking to my men in here because, again, I think you guys are often overlooked when it comes to like being told like it's okay to care about the way that you look and dress and the way your hair looks and stuff, like, and the way your skin looks, which kind of goes into, don't just buy your average off the shelf brand. Talk to your mom or talk to a girlfriend, or even do the research on your own. I mean, you're very capable humans of, if you need help finding, what's good for you. Like, if you have drier skin, make sure you look up things that work for drier skin types. Don't just go buy the CeraVe that everybody on the planet uses, which I think it might work for most people, but I don't know. I've never used it. But I just know that's what my brother used growing up. Don't go just buy the Axe body wash. I don't know how many health benefits there is in those other than wanting to drown people in cologne. um, Sorry, I'm also ripping my nails off while we do this. But just, do the research, take that extra step. And that stuff is like, it's so easy to build physical confidence when things like that. Because if you make sure your, physical appearance is up to the highest bar it could be at, you're bound to feel at least somewhat good in your own skin, like, whatever makes you feel good, do what you got to do. And a lot of that starts with quality, and the quality of the clothes that you wear, and the quality of the stuff that you put on your body, and also in the quality of stuff that you eat. I'm a very big advocate on eating as, clean as you can. Obviously, eat to your heart's content, whatever makes you feel good. But for me, like, eating pretty clean, like, has always made me feel, my body feel really good, and listening to my body has always made me feel really good. But yeah, basically just your making sure your hygiene is as up to par as it can be. Make sure you find a style that you like, and dress accordingly and feel good when you go out. Take the time. Get a haircut you like, hairstyle, hair color, all those fun things. I had to experiment for years before I landed on hair colors that I liked. You don't have to go the extra mile and go hair colors, but I think a haircut is really important. Hair styling is really important because, at least for me, I always felt my worst when I didn't feel like my hair was looking good or where I wanted it to. Like when my hair was just drab and I felt like there was no life to it. I didn't put the effort in to do it, and I hated taking pictures of myself during that time period, and I hated being around people because I just knew my hair looked a mess, and therefore I felt a mess, and therefore I, you know, felt a mess and whatnot. But physical confidence is hard. And as corny as the saying, just because they're pretty doesn't take away from my pretty, I've kind of been having to tell myself that when I go out and see pretty girls and stuff. For those that don't know, I am bisexual, but that doesn't mean I look at every woman and see them in a, sexual sense. I have friends that are girls that I don't see them in that way at all. I just see them, as the girls, as, my friends. And there are some girls I look at where, I think they're just so pretty. And I think their features are so unique and all these things. And I'm not attracted to them in any way. I just think they're so pretty. And, instantly I want to compare myself to them and be like, dang it, like, that's the prettiest girl in the room or something. And I think it's also about catching yourself in those moments and being like, just because she's pretty doesn't mean I'm not, you know? I and I think that's a conscious effort to be made constantly when you're comparing yourself to other people, because a really easy way to think about it is everybody has their own preferences, right? Of like what they like in, at least physical attractiveness in other people. And no offense, no offense to myself, I guess. I get bullied all the time for my preferences. I be going to battle showing people pictures of the people I like sometimes or like previous exes or whatnot. Like I'll be like, you haven't seen them in person or something, I'll be fist fighting trying to defend them because, I might think they're the cutest person in the world, but, my mom is like, dude, like you can't be serious. And I think it's really important to think about times like that and remind us of times like that because it's so true that everybody has, different versions and ideas of what being attractive looks like and what it means. And, what I think is attractive, my best friend might think is like the total opposite. Like my best friend thinks PETA from uh the Hunger Games is so cute, okay? And I don't see it at all. Like like in no world do I think Peeta Mellark is cute. And like I don't find him attractive at all, but she is, head over heels. And in those moments, when you're out comparing yourself to other people, I think that's a really easy reminder to be like, just because, they're really pretty doesn't mean I'm not. They might find me really pretty, or somebody else might find, me really pretty or not them. So, that comparison, will always be the death of us. And that's how I kind of get myself through it now. Is just because there's other pretty people in the world doesn't mean I'm not pretty. And it's helped. It's helped me a lot. And it's also helped me to stop being so cynical to other people. I feel like it's really easy to feel cynical to other people because of that lack of self-confidence and seeing other attractive people and instantly not liking them because they're more attractive than you. And I think being chronically online is also a big issue with that right now because people also don't like when when they think people are more attractive than them and then are also more successful than them. And it's like cooking up the craziest hot pot of, I suddenly hate that person even though I don't really know anything about them. And I think this is something a lot of people could definitely learn from, you know. I think I think that's my spiel on that at least. I talked to myself sort of long enough, but to round out everything, I guess, is confidence I think takes a lot to build. And it's something we only build and cultivate in our adult life for sure. I don't think it's something you could really do in high school because that's when you're figuring everything out. You know, nobody really has confidence or self love in high school because they don't really know a whole lot about themselves yet. They're not the person they're going to be forever during high school, you know. You really, truly create confidence and self love once you kind of reach adulthood, you know, maybe like your early 20s. I feel like is probably when you start kind of learning and figuring out what that looks like for you and what you like. And I don't think you could have confidence without self love. And I also don't think you can love yourself without, you know, a little bit of confidence. So it kind of goes hand in hand. But more so, I don't think you can have confidence without, you know, loving yourself. And that takes a lot of work. And that comes with loving yourself both physically and, you know, internally. The way you handle things and the way you handle your emotions and treat other people and whatnot. I think that's a whole process that most of us all have to go through. And also, you know, not disliking others because of their self love or because of their confidence and because of the way that they look. Because in the same way we can't control the way that we look, they can't control the way that they look either. But we can, to an extent, control, you know, the way we present ourselves, which kind of goes back to the hygiene and the clothes and hair and whatever you have it. The way you know, keep your apartment and the way you keep your room, things like that. We can control how we present ourselves. And beauty is in the eye of the beholder and so many people, and so many people are into so many different things. So just because somebody is attractive doesn't take away from yours. And I think that's what it means to be confident and how to build confidence. And now we've reached that point where I say if anybody would like to unmute and give their 2 cents into the conversation vocally or to yell and scream at me and tell me I'm an idiot, this is about that time. You can type in chat with a mic or something, and I'll make sure to give you the adequate roles and such. And if you're uncomfortable with verbally speaking, that's fine. You're welcome to type as well. I did see a comment from, I don't know why Discord's doing that weird thing. It's only giving me one letter, but A said, I find the idea of comparing interesting. We are also unique, so can we really compare? What's to say one is better than the other? I completely agree. At the end of the day, I'm pretty sure every person on this planet bleeds red and has a skeleton underneath their body and all that gross, nasty stuff. Shout out to people that work in medical fields because I could never. I'm a giant baby when it comes to those things. But you are so right. We are so also unique, and I find, and that's something I love about myself is I love being able to look at people and seeing why somebody else would like physically be into them, or you know even emotionally. You know, whether it be, oh, they have like the cutest nose, like I can see why somebody would love that, or you know they have the coolest eyes, or their hair is really cool, or you know their features are really unique. I can see what other people would, you know, fall head over heels for in that sense, you know, because just because they might not be the person for me, I know that somebody else is gonna love and adore those things or features or properties. I don't know, properties is really where I'm going. Attribute is the word I wanted to use. Attributes. um, is gonna love and adore those attributes on them at some point in their life, I'm sure. See a lot of typing, and we're typing into different places. Let me check this place. Bald for the win. No way. Right, a couple people are typing, so I'm gonna play elevator music while we wait. I'm out for a run. I don't know how strong my connection is, or if my mic will pick up car noises, but I'm down to give my 2 cents if no one else wants to. I would love to hear from you, Shammy. Shammy is a very avid or regular, I should say, in in stream in the community, and I think he's a great person to talk about this topic with because he's we have conversations about this topic a lot. All right, I have given you the TCD rule, Shammy. You might have to disconnect and reconnect to unmute, or you might be able to unmute just right now. You might have to leave and come back. I give you the rule, but I don't know how it works. And somebody typed in the other chat. Ah, okay, he left and he's probably gonna join back. You're happy to give your thoughts. All right, Miles, will get to you after Shemi comes back. There he is. Can you unmute? We'll allow you. You shouldn't be muted. You should be able to. There we go.
Hold on.
There we go. I hear you.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to add to the confidence portion of it on how to build it.
Yeah.
Um, I think there's three types of confidence, right? There's a confidence that comes from within,
Mm.
and also confidence that you get from skills, from things you're knowledgeable in,
Oh, that's a
and
good one.
confidence that you get from validation or recognition, right? And I think it's important to have a good balance of those three, and they also bounce off each other. For example, um, if you learn a skill, right, and you're confident in that, that adds to that inner confidence that comes from within. And also, if you get that recognition and that validation too, that also adds to that inner confidence that you start getting and building off of. And as for the self love, I think you make a great point on that one. It's very important to have self love, but also, what is self love? You know, I think
Yeah.
it's having discipline, being disciplined, a disciplined person, um, having self control, and because you could be saying I have self love, and but your actions or things you do, the way you take care of your body, your mind, your soul, tells a whole different story. So I think it's important to have that self control and discipline that goes with having self love. And there's also, for a lot of people that don't have confidence, which when you was talking about having hygiene and being groomed up, that that's really important because it's small W's that add up to bigger ones over time. It could be something as simple as you tell yourself, you set small goals, attainable goals, that I'm gonna wake up at 6 and do this, or today I'm going to, for example, cooking. For me, that one helped build my confidence up a lot, and that's something attainable, something small, right? But just me starting learning how to cook and making those meals, it starts building up confidence because that's a small W, right? And they start adding up. I tell myself I'm going to wake up at this time. I'm gonna go for a run today. I do it. That's a small W. So they all start adding up over time, and you start building that confidence. Small W, small steps, because you're not gonna if you're not someone that's not confident, you're not gonna go from uh, from nothing to something in a week, right? Or in a month. It takes time. Great things take time to build. It's 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 that of not getting that instant gratification and taking your time and building something good and strong. And also negative self-talk. That's one that I kind of struggled with when I was younger. But then I realized that negative self-talk is just yourself. It's that's it. No one. A lot of times, no one notices a lot of those things. It's just it's negative self-talk is like going against someone that knows your every move that you do, right? Everything that you do, they know your every move. So it's not a fair fight. So don't take it like it's one because just you versus yourself, and nobody else notices it a lot of the times.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to add on to that. I don't know how my mic sounded.
No, you
I'll use
sounded great.
right now. I was a little nervous when I first joined in, right? But that goes with the number two that I said, confidence from things you're knowledgeable in, or that you're kind of you have a skill in. I was a little nervous when I first joined in, but once I started talking about the topic, my confidence kicked in because I think I'm a little knowledgeable in those things. So then those nerves kind of went away, and that's just an example of like that confidence, that at least that second point that I made kicking in for me. Because it's been a while since I've spoken in public or anything like to a lot of people, even though it's just a Discord server. But I felt a little nervous. But that second point that I made kicked in.
You did
So
great. Yeah, no, you did
I just
great.
wanted to add up onto that, and if anyone is struggling with things, make small goals. If you don't have any confidence, small goals, things that are attainable, and start doing those. Anything. It could be just hygiene, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just to set that goal. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna groom myself. I'm gonna be clean. A face routine, a face wash routine, and do those and build off good habits, right? Having good habits. They say it takes like 3 weeks to build a good habit and to get into a rhythm. It's just building off those small W's, getting that momentum and building up, building up, building up. And next thing you know it, you're kind of confident, even though you may not notice it, but other people will start noticing. And so I just wanted to add on to that. And I just want to say thank you. Ellie, you do a good job out here, being open to your community, and I appreciate that. It's something that I like about your stream, that you're real with us. So I just want
Thanks.
to say that. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. No, you're really well spoken. You did that. You did amazing. And honestly,
Hmm.
that last point you made, I love that because it's talking negatively to yourself. It's, things that you wouldn't say to other people, like, so why do you say them to yourself? And that kind of ties into trying to make the habit with the small W's into big W's. That was so cool. I love that you said that. And
Yeah.
like, if you miss, say, like you're trying to build a routine, right? And you miss maybe one day, maybe you miss 2 days, don't be so hard on yourself. Because what if that was a friend of yours, and they came to you and they're like, oh,
Hmm.
I'm trying to build this habit and I missed 2 days and I'm being really hard on myself over it. Most people in that situation would be like, it's okay. Like, that happens, you stumbled, but you'll get back on your feet, just try again tomorrow, it's about trying again. But usually when we talk to ourselves in that moment, we're like, fuck, like, dude, why did I do this? Like, I'm so awful. I can't create this habit. I suck. Like, we're so much harsher on ourselves than we would be, say, a close friend of ours. And that ties into the self-love and caring about yourself and not talking to yourself in that way, because you speak these negative things, you're basically manifesting it. You're manifesting this negativity towards yourself instead of, being kind, as if you're treating yourself like a friend.
Yeah, like I said, it takes time, right, to build that confidence, to build up yourself. So you gotta be go easy on yourself. You're human at the end of the day, and I always say fall forward.
Yeah,
It's
for
it's
sure.
it's a it's ups and downs in life, and it's a lot of ups and downs. But you got to keep moving forward. And like I said, fall forward.
Hell
If you
yeah.
miss today, you have tomorrow, right?
Yeah,
And you have the next day. So don't be too hard on yourself. Uh, you got to be able to forgive yourself. You got to be able to be easy on yourself. You're human at the end of the day. We all make mistakes. It's
facts.
just that like I said, that negative self talk. A lot of times it's just you. Nobody else notices it.
Yeah. Shammy, thank you so much for talking. I'm gonna pop you out, but I really appreciate it. You did
Hmm.
amazing. You did so good. Um,
Yeah.
and
Thank you.
if anybody else wants to hit a little unmute, I can probably take one more little riff before we close out this episode. Again, if anybody wanted to type or anything, I did read that somebody um, well, I saw that somebody read earlier, so I am going to read this comment from Thrones while you guys let me know. I'm in my early 20s, and to this day, I'm still trying to find self love. Growing up, I was downgraded for my looks and skills so much to a point that I let myself go. I was so trapped in my mind thinking nobody cared or even my caring about myself. I started going to therapy to see if that would change, and I cannot believe the crazy progress I have had since. It really all about finding a great support system too to help you. I completely agree, Thrones, and I'm really happy that you found something that works for you because it's hard. The early 20s is hard. Again, everybody thinks you have it figured out in like high school, and building that confidence, self love, but it really doesn't happen until your 20s when you're, out in the world on your own and you're figuring out all this crazy stuff about yourself, and and a lot of you changes. A lot of the things you like and are into, and your friend groups change. Even your family relationships will change because some of us move out. And so I'm really happy for you, friends, that you found that good support system. That's also very true. Find people that will accept you're changing and accept you're ever growing, and you know the way we humans and fun things are. Several people are typing. We are almost about to hit an hour. Again, if somebody wants to um, give one more focal 2 cents, you're welcome to. Hopefully, a little bit short, but you know, I would love to make sure anybody that wants to talk, has their opportunity to. But Shammy, again, thank you so much. You did amazing. You did so good. You said some things that I totally didn't think about, and I had kind of forgotten about, honestly, and made amazing points. Um, Thrones, I was talking about work. No worries. Again, this will be every Thursday thing. It'll be new topics, so but we'll try and keep everybody as involved as possible. That's why we do this live. That's why we have the live chat as well that I'm trying to keep an eye on as much as possible. This topic was definitely a little bit harder to talk about than our first one. Um, just giving examples of things and breaking it down because it's hard to break down something like this. But I think so far we all did a pretty freaking good job. A also says that confidence is a thing that will go up and down through life. It's never perfect. As long as you keep getting the small W's, it's true facts. I think that's going to be our biggest takeaway from this episode is the saying from Shammy, the small W's leading, to big W's. I think that is like a great summarization of, how to cultivate confidence and self-love. It's just taking those small steps and creating those small habits for yourself, and eventually it'll grow into what you want it to be. But it'll never be perfect because we are forever changing humans. I've said that like 3 times now, and I'm going to say it again. We're not the same person we were yesterday. We're not the same person we were a day ago. Hell, we aren't even the same person we were an hour ago, because now we've had this really fun, awesome conversation and got to learn all these fun, amazing things with each other. And now we're all leaving changed men. Force, I'm not reading that. I'm not. It's become a joke at this point. If you guys, okay, those of you that weren't a part of my stream a couple days ago, Force tried to tell us to dip Oreo cookies or cookies in general in fruit punch, and we all bullied him for it. Cyberbullying was brought back, and now I have my friends every time I go to the grocery store ask me if I'm buying fruit punch and cookies to dip them in, and I'm like, no, I'd rather eat my own foot. And he's still trying to tell us it's not a joke. I'm just waiting for the day I actually try it and I throw up, and then he goes, "Ha ha, got ya." And it's my 13th reason. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, all right. I haven't gotten a message from anybody else that wants to unmute, it would seem, as we approach the 60th minutes. But I do keep reading this chat. I see a ring light in my eyeball now because I just stand in the camera while I said that. Our host has changed a lot in the 6+ years I've known her. Many small dives and setbacks along the way, but here's where persistence paid off. Oh, thanks. Is that GMAT? I only see the G. I don't know why Discord does that, but I'm gonna go on a limb and say that's GMAT. um, but yeah, all right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up then. I think. Hold on, there's a message in the cat den open chat. I can get my thoughts. Happy to wait. No. You're welcome to. We'll move into a different topic next time. Let me give you the roll real quick. I'm gonna give you that roll, and I'm gonna give you that roll. We're trying not to go too far over the hour mark. I will say that, but please, Miles, you are welcome to disconnect and reconnect, and let the people know how you feel about confidence and how to build it. There he is.
Are we working?
Yep, you're
Cool.
good.
So yeah, I can be super quick with it. I think something that I've grown to because I'm 31 now, so I was a different world for me growing up. Social media was very different, where you weren't comparing yourself to others with Instagram and Twitter and everything else. Like it was very much like I would always find that my confidence was through myself. I wasn't comparing to others, but I was allowing myself to let my own thoughts take over myself. And as I grew up, it was me telling myself that there's a song by Audrey Slave called "Be Yourself," and you just got that's exactly what I try to live by, and it's why I try and teach the kids that I teach and try and have them to build their confidence. Just saying, just own who you are. Like people, there are going to be people out there who love you for who you are. Like I feel there's so many people who feel like they need to change for someone or they need to be a different person. And we all have our quirks, we all have our interests, we all have our little hobbies, especially I mean in this chat, especially we all have our mutual sort of things that we're into. And there's always going to be people there that will like you for who you are, love you for who you are, and you just need to embrace that. And I feel like self love and self confidence can really come through that. Through you can allow yourself, I think Shami mentioned it, with your negative thoughts, you can let your negative thoughts take over and you will spiral and you can't come out of it easily. And it takes a lot. And that's where them little W's come in again, where you just need to own up to who you are as a person, what you enjoy. And like you said, if you want to go and learn to do something new, I feel like I've been trying to learn new languages. These are little things where I'm telling myself like you you do what you enjoy. I want to go learn Japanese. I want to go learn Spanish. I again with the baking. I feel like there's a baking trend where me and my partner we bake a lot, and it's like these are just these little things that brighten your day a little bit. That makes every day a little bit easier because we're all gonna have these negative days that can bring your confidence down. But
Yeah.
yeah, I loved what Shami said. I thought Shami spoke really well. Actually, I agree with everything he was saying. It was I think these little dubs are something that everyone should really take away from this. Is that just you do what makes you happy, and you just your confidence is going to naturally build from that. If you have good days, your confidence is just going to build from it.
Facts. Thank you, Miles. I think that was a great like closing end of just straight bang. Do what the hell is gonna make you happy. And that's so real too, because at the end of the day, like you are stuck with yourself forever, bro. Like it is you
Yeah,
in you forever. Like on your deathbed, it's you and you know what I mean? So I think that was great. Thank you guys all for being here. Thank you, Miles, for talking. Thank you, Shemi, for talking. You both did great and definitely gave some very, very enlightening words, I think, to everybody in here. And we really appreciate you stepping out of your comfort zones for some of you to press an unmute button. You know, it's not always easy to give your opinion on stuff like this. Everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for being here for the live episode. Everybody on YouTube or whatever listening, thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this podcast. And I hope you got to take something away from it, learn something, or whatever. I helped you or we helped you get past an hour and 2 minutes of the day to make it a little bit easier. And as always, fuck it. We ball till next time. I will see you guys for episode 3. Thank you guys so, 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 so much. And I hope you have a great rest of your morning, evening, night, whatever it is, wherever you are. And we'll see you later. Bye.